ॐ शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु, सहनौ भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यं करभावहै, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तः शान्तः शान्तिः। अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे। श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां श्रीहयग्रीवमुपास्महे। श्रीहयग्रीवमूर्तये नमः। सरस्वति नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। उमाकोमलहस्ताब्जसम्भावितललाटकं हिरण्यकुण्डलं वन्दे कुमारं पुष्करस्रजं। வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு ஹரஹரோஹரா. லோகவீரியம் மகாபூஜ்யம் சர்வரக்ஷாகரம் விபும் பார்வதி ஹிருதயானந்தம் சாஸ்தாரம் பிரணமாம்யகம். சுவாமியே சரணமையப்பா. வாகர்த்தாவிவ சம்பிரக்தௌ வாகர்த்த பிரதிபத்தயே ஜகதः பிதரௌ வந்தே பார்வதி பரமேஸ்வரௌ. ஸ்ரீ பார்வதி பரமேஸ்வராभ्यां நமः. कोमलं कूजयन् वेणुं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारकः वेदवेद्यं परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। पीताम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्खकौमोदकी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायम् अतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। कृष्णो रक्षतु मां चराचरगुरुः कृष्णं नमस्ये सदा। कृष्णेनैव सुरक्षितोऽहमसकृत् कृष्णाय दत्तं मनः। कृष्णादेव समुद्भवो मम विभो कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम्। कृष्णे भक्तिरचञ्चलास्तु भगवन्। हे कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं। नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरणभ्यर्थितानपि अर्थान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च। इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं शक्रवाटी ध्रुममभिलषति व्यर्थमर्त्यव्रजोऽयं। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं। श्रीभट्टपादम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। वंशीविभूषितकरात् नवनीरदाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलादरोष्टात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने. കൈരണ്ടും കൂപ്പി ഞാൻ വീണ്ടും ഇറക്കുന്നു നീരജലോചന നിന്നോടായി. ഏതീനു മഞ്ഞനെ കുമ്പീരേണ്ട തോറും പ്രീതിയിൽ നീ എന്നെ പാലിക്കുന്നായി. കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare. Good morning, everyone. We have some people off today or absent today, so let's just directly jump into it. I don't know how many will join, so we don't need to do the review. Okay, so we'll start with 54 today, which is Kali Yasya Yamuna Hride Nivasasya Karana Varnana. What it really means is the reason why the Kaliya snake comes to the Yamuna river. So this Dashakam 54, 55, 56 are all connected It's sort of three chapters which it talks on the Kaliya Nardanam, right? The dance that Krishna does on Kaliya. One is why Kaliya comes, then the actual dance that happens, and then what happens after the dance. That's how the three Dashakams are actually broken. Okay, let me just start here. Maybe Ritiji, you and Maitri, you can be student first. Stanza one.
Rajesh, I think we didn't go through the last two slokas of previous
Oh,
chapter.
53? Oh,
Ah,
okay, okay. All right, let's finish that off. Sorry. So we just stopped at 8. Okay, all right. So let's go 9 and 10.
okay.
If I get the tune of this, hold on. मधुद्रवसृन्ति बृहन्ति तानि फलानि मेदो भरभृन्ति भुक्त्वा तृप्तैश्च दृप्तैर्भवनं फलौघं बहद्विरागाः खलु बालकैस्त्वम्. So I think this one we saw the Dhenukasura, right, where they actually went to this forest where there were there's a tree with very sweet fruits, which was actually guarded by a donkey, Dhenuka, and then their associates. They all went there, and Balarama then swung Dhenuka, threw him on the tree, and then Dhenuka, he was gotten rid of. So I think in this one, really, what's happening is, when Dhenuka fell on the trees, and the trees then went and hit on other trees, all the sweet fruits which they went there for all fell down. So basically, the boys are all enjoying the fruits now that Dhenuka is gone, and the gods are also, praising, them saying that, you're done, thanks to Krishna. So essentially, the boys have the fruits, and now everybody is able to go back to that forest and enjoy the fruits, which is actually there because Krishna was able to get rid of Dhenukasura. Madhu Drava Srunti Brihanti Tani, put a plus, Phalani Medobhara Bhrinti Bhuktva Triptaischa Driptair Bhavanam Phalaugam, again put a plus, Vahad Biragaha, is there, put a ich sound, Vahad Biragah Khalu Balakaistwam. मधुद्रवसृन्ति बृहन्ति तानि फलानि मेदो भरभन्ति भुक्त्वा तृप्तैश्च दृप्तैर्भवनं फलौघं वहद्भिरागाः खलु बालकैस्त्वम्.
मधुद्रवसृन्ति बृहन्ति तानि फलानि मेदो भरभृन्ति भुक्त्वा तृप्तैश्च दृप्तैर्भवनं फलौघं वहद्भिरागाः खलु बालकैस्त्वम्. मधुद्रवसृन्ति बृहन्ति तानि फलानि मेदो भरभृन्ति भुक्त्वा तृप्तैश्च दृप्तैर्भवनं फलौघं वहद्भिरागाः खलु बालकैस्त्वम्.
मधुद्रवसृन्ति बृहन्ति तानि फलानि मेधो भरभृन्ति भुक्त्वा तृप्तैश्च दृप्तैर्भवनं फलौघं वहद्भिरागाः खलु बालकैस्त्वम्.
The second line, that particular word, Vahadbiragah.
वहद्भिरागाः खलु बालकैस्त्वम्. मधुद्रवसृन्ति बृहन्ति तानि फलानि मेदो भरभृन्ति भुक्त्वा तृप्तैश्च दृप्तैर्भवनं फलौघं वहद्भिरागाः खलु बालकैस्त्वम्.
हतो हतो धेनुक इत्युपेत्य फलान्यदद्भिर्मधुरानि लोकः जयेति जीवेति नुतो विभो त्वं मरुत्पुराधीश्वर पाहि रोगात्. So essentially, this is just summarizing that once Krishna came, everybody then praised, saying, victory to Krishna. Because of Krishna, everybody is able to get back there and enjoy the forest and enjoy the fruits because he got rid of the asura. So Guru Arappa, please eradicate all my ailments. हतो हतो धेनुक इत्युपेत्य फलान्यदद्भिर्मधुराणि लोकैः जयेति जीवेति नुतो विभो त्वं मरुत्पुराधीश्वर पाहि रोगात्. हतो हतो धेनुक इत्युपेत्य फलान्यदद्भिर्मधुराणि लोकैः जयेति जीवेति नुतो विभो त्वं मरुत्पुराधीश्वर पाहि रोगात्.
हतो हतो धेनुक इत्युपेत्य फलान्यदद्भिर्मधुराणि लोकैः जयेति जीवेति नुतो विभो त्वं मरुत्पुराधीश्वर पाहि रोगात् हतो हतो धेनुक इत्युपेत्य फलान्यदद्भिर्मधुराणि लोकैः जयेति जीवेति नुतो विभो त्वं मरुत्पुराधीश्वर पाहि रोगात्
हतो हतो धेनुक इत्युपेत्य फलान्यदद्भिर्मधुराणि लोकैः जयेति जीवेति नुतो विभो त्वं मरुत्पुराधीश्वर पाहि रोगात् हतो हतो धेनुक इत्युपेत्य फलान्यदद्भिर्मधुराणि लोकैः जयेति जीवेति नुतो विभो त्वं मरुत्पुराधीश्वर पाहि रोगात्. Sri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha.
So we'll jump to 54. So like I said, 54 is the reason for Kaliya coming to the river Yamuna. Stanza 1. Tvatsevodka saubharirnama purvam kalendhyantar dwadashabdham tapasyan meenavrate snehavan bhogalole tarkshyam sakshad aikshataagre kadachit. So long time back, there was a sage called Saubhari, and the Saubhari was actually performing penance under the waters of the Yamuna river. If you remember, there was one more person who did this penance under the water. If you all remember, it was Dasakam 19 Prachetas. They did the tapas for thousands of years underwater, right? So Saubhari also was doing, he was doing for 12 years underwater. So he was like a great saint. There's a lot of history about him, but that doesn't matter. I'll tell a little bit of a story that happens, which is not in this, what do you call, in this stanza. But so Saubhari was doing tapas underwater. So when he was doing tapas, when you're doing a meditation, you are kind of detaching yourself with all of the worldly things which are happening around you. That is step number 1. What happens is, because he's been underwater for 12 years, he somehow gets attached to the fish community which is there under the water. To the extent, and there's nothing in our the history which has not happened. He sees a couple of fish living together, having marital affairs, right? They were actually together to produce to have more eggs. He then he just looks at them, right? And 2 things happen. One of them is he gets attached to the fish community as a community, and 2, he also feels, what am I doing? Praying. I should also go get married and have more children. He has that feeling, right? So first thing that happens is he's very attached to the fish. Then eventually what happens, which is not mentioned in the stanza, which is there in Bhagavatam, is he then ends up giving up all his sannyasam. He then goes to a king and goes to the king and says, I want to marry one of your daughter. The king says, you are a great rishi. You can marry who you want, but my daughters have to like you. The daughters look at him and feel that you become so old with all this tapas staying underwater. We don't like you. So he then goes, and then with his yogic powers, he comes back very young and attractive. And all the daughters want to marry him now because they all fight amongst each other. So he marries them. And at some point in his future, he again realizes, saying, what have I come down to? I saw 2 fishes making love, and then I got distracted from my entire, austerities and penance. And then I end up coming and getting married, and I'm falling back into this trap. And eventually he leaves them, and then he goes back to that. So that's his backstory. But the point they're trying to say here is, he gets close to the fish. Garuda comes to that place to eat fish. So one day when Garuda comes and picks the kingfish, the main fish which is there, and then the Garuda takes the fish away. Saubhari now feels very bad. He says, oh my God, he's taken the leader of the fish. What is the rest of the fish community going to be doing? So he feels very bad, and then he puts a curse. I'm kind of jumping into the next one a little bit here. So he then ceases and he tells Garuda, I'm cursing you that you are never going to be, you should never come near this area. You should never come to this area of Yamuna river, because you are taking one of the people who I really like, and you have actually eaten them, and the entire community is suffering. So that's a curse that Saubhari gives Garuda not to come near Yamuna river. I'll tell you how this all eventually links to Kaliya, but anyway, stanza 1. So Tvat Sevotkas Saubharir Nama Purvam, Kalindyanthar Dwadashabdham Tapasyan Meenavrate Snehavan Bhogalole, Tarkshyam Sakshat Aikshatagre kadachit. So you can break that word sakshat aikshatagre if you want. त्वत्सेवोत्कः सौभरिर्नाम पूर्वं कालिन्द्यन्तर्द्वादशाब्दं तपस्यन् मीनव्राते स्नेहवान् भोगलोले तार्क्ष्यं साक्षात् ऐक्षताग्रे कदाचित्.
त्वत्सेवोत्सक सौरभिर्नाम पूर्वं कालिन्द्यन्तर्द्वादशाब्दं तपस्यन् मीनव्राते स्नेहवान् भोगलोले ताक्ष्यं साक्षात् ऐक्षताग्रे कदाचित्.
The first line, is Tvat sevotkas saubharir.
Okay, thank you. त्वत्सेवोत्कः सौभरिर्नाम पूर्वं कालिन्द्यन्तर्द्वादशाब्दं तपस्यन् मीनव्राते स्नेहवान् भोगलोले तार्क्ष्यं साक्षात् ऐक्षताग्रे कदाचित्.
त्वत्सेवोकः सौभनिर्नाम पूर्वं कालिन्द्यन्तर्द्वादशाब्दं तपस्यन् मीनव्राते स्नेहवान् भोगलोले ताक्ष्यं साक्षात् ऐक्षताग्रे कदाचित्. त्वत्सेवोत्कः सौभनिर्नाम पूर्वं कालिन्द्यन्तर्द्वादशाब्दं तपस्यन् मीनव्राते स्नेहवान् भोगलोले ताक्ष्यं साक्षात् ऐक्षताग्रे कदाचित्.
And the fourth line, first word, ir sound has to come. Tarkshyam.
Sakshat. Tarkshyam.
Okay. Tarkshyam referring to Garuda. Stanza 2. Twadvaham tam sakshudham trikshasунhum meenam kanchijjakshatam lakshayan sah taptaschitte shaptavan atra chetvam jantun bhokta jivitam chapi mokta. This is where he's giving the curse. Now he says, no, if you come here and if you touch any of the fishes from the Yamuna river, I curse that your life is also going to go away. That's the curse he's giving. Now, Garuda, he eats fish. That's his natural food, right? So you can't go play with nature to say, do not, like it's like telling a tiger, don't go kill a deer. You know, that's how the nature is, right? So because, and when you start interfering with, if you think that you are the controller of this nature, and you start interfering with it, it's going to result in other unintended consequences, which is what is going to happen, right? So Saubhari is now feeling that because he has the power, he can do what he wants, and he wants to protect the fish. So that's what is happening. So anyway, Garuda doesn't come here anymore. Twadvaham tam sakshudham trikshasунhum, meenam kanchij jakshatam lakshayan saha taptaschitte shaptavan atra chetvam, jantun bhokta jivitam chapi mokta. Twadvaham tam sakshudham trikshasунhum meenam kanchijjakshatam lakshayan sah taptaschitte shaptavan atra chetvam jantun bhokta jivitam chapi mokta.
त्वद्वाहं तं सक्षुधं तृक्षसूनुं मीनं कञ्जिजक्षतं लक्षयन् सः तप्तश्चित्ते शप्तवानत्र चेत्त्वं जन्तून् भोक्ता जीवितं चापि मोक्ता. त्वद्वाहं तं सक्षुधं तृक्षसूनुं मीनं कञ्जिजक्षतं लक्षयन् सः तप्तश्चित्ते शप्तवानत्र चेत्त्वं जन्तून् भोक्ता जीवितं चापि मोक्ता.
त्वद्वाहं तं सक्षुधं तृक्षसूनुं मीनं कञ्चिज्जक्षतं लक्षयन् सः तप्तश्चित्ते शप्तवानत्र चेत्त्वं जन्तून् भोक्ता जीवितं चापि मोक्ता. त्वद्वद्वाहं तं
I
सक्षुद्धं
think say that together. Twadvaham tam.
त्वद्वाहं तं सक्षुधं तृक्षसूनुं मीनं कञ्चित् दक्षतं लक्षयन् सः तप्तक्षित्ते शप्तवानत्र चेत् त्वं जन्तून् भोक्ता जीवितं चापि मोक्ता.
Sansatri. Tasmin kale kaliyah kshveladharpate sarparate kalpitam bhagamashnan tena krodat tvatpadam bhoja bhaja pakshakshiptastadurapam payughat. So now what happens is now another story is going to get intertwined. So because Garuda cannot stay in Yamuna anymore, he ends up leaving the place. And then he goes to this place called as a Ramanaka Island, island of Ramanaka. So if you go Google what does Ramanaka mean, it will say it is in Fiji area. Okay, now in that island, it is called as the island of snakes. Olden days, Ramanaka was called as the island of snakes because there used to be a lot of snakes there. And even now, if you go check in Wikipedia, it will say the Fiji people used to worship a big snake which used to be there at that point. So in that area, Ramanaka, were a lot of snakes, and one of the snake was a massive snake called as Kalia, which is was a very powerful snake which was actually there. And what was happening was Garuda also eats snakes. Eagles, they also eat snakes. So when Garuda went there, he started eating the snakes in the island. And like we always do when we go to a buffet, we go take everything, we only finish half. So that's what Garuda was also doing. So all these snakes then said, you know what, you're wasting a lot of snakes. He says, you come here. Every time you come, we'll leave one snake for you to eat. And where you'll eat one snake only, right? Garuda agrees to it. But what happens is snakes also eat snakes. So when the snake that has been left for Garuda, this Kalia used to come and eat it. And so when Garuda saw that, then he once comes and there is a small tussle that happens between Garuda and Kalia because they both want the same snake, right? And Garuda is able to win because he's able to hit off Kalia with his very powerful wings. And Kalia then says, you know what, I cannot stay in this Fiji, Ramanaka island anymore. And don't ask me how all these things get related, but Kalia finds out there's one place Garuda cannot come, which is the Yamuna River. So Kalia then migrates with his entire family from there into the Yamuna River. So that's how it says they end up coming to Yamuna River. And this will come again in 56th Dashakam when Krishna is talking to Kalia and his families. He says, you go back to Ramanaka Island now because you are safe. Garuda will not come there anymore, right? It'll kind of close the chapter there. But anyway, with all of this, when Kalia realizes that he's safe for him to come to Yamuna, then being there, he comes off to Yamuna River along with his family. So Tasmin Kale Kaliyaha. So that Visarga you have to say that because Ksha is coming later. Shvela Darpathe, comma. Sarparatehe, put the ich sound. Sarparateh Kalpitam Bhagamashnan. Tena Krodat Tvat Padambhoja Bhaja, comma. Paksha Kshiptas Tad Durapam Payogat. Tasmin Kale Kaliyah Shveladharpate Sarparate Kalpitam Bhagamashnan Tena Krodat Tvatpadam Bhoja Bhaja Paksha Kshiptas Tad Durapam Payogat.
तस्मिन् काले कालियः क्ष्वेलदर्पात् सर्पारातेः कल्पितं भागमस्नन् तेन क्रोधात् त्वत्पदाम्भोजभाजा पक्षक्षिप्त तद्दुरापं पयोगात् तस्मिन् काले कालियः क्ष्वेलदर्पात् सर्पारातेः कल्पितं भागमस्नन् तेन क्रोधात् त्वत्पदाम्भोजभाजा पक्षक्षिप्त तद्दुरापं पयोगात्.
That last line, Ritiji, that is you can say it with the kshipta. Paksha kshiptas tadurapam.
Oh, पक्षक्षिप्त तद्दुरापं पयोगात्.
तस्मिन् काले कालियः क्ष्वेलदर्पात् सर्पारातेः कल्पितं भागमश्नन् तेन क्रोधान् तत्पदां भोजभाजा पक्षक्षिप्तस्तद्रुरापं पयोगात्
The third line in between what Tena Krodha Tvat Padam Bhojabhaja. You said Tat Padam, it's Tvat Padam.
तेन क्रोधात् त्वत्पदाम्बोज
Yeah.
तस्मिन् काले कालियः क्ष्वेलदर्पात् सर्पारातेः कल्पितं भागमश्नन् तेन क्रोधात् त्वत्पदां भोजभाजा तद्रुरापं पयोगात्.
Stands for घोरे तस्मिन् सूरजानीरभासे तीरे वृक्षाभिक्षताः क्ष्वेलवेगात् पक्षिव्राताः पेतुरभ्रे पतन्तः कारुण्यार्द्रं त्वन्मनस्तेन जातम्. Okay, so final, essentially what ends up happening is Kalia now has moved on to Yamuna river. So he's living there along with his family. Now the Kshvela that is coming there in this previous stanza and in this stanza means poison, right? So this Kalia, like I said, is very powerful snake, extremely poisonous. To the extent he's poisonous, his poison is so strong that sometimes when rivers are the Yamuna river kind of river is there, sometimes the water just in some portion it deviates off and goes and forms its own water body, right? And later on, the connection between the river and the water body breaks. So there's like a dedicated water body that is there. That's the place Kalia is. So it's not in the actual Yamuna river. He is in a water body which is an offset of the Yamuna river. Because if Kalia is there in Yamuna, entire Yamuna is going to get polluted with poison, right? So he's in a big water body which is on the offset of Yamuna. So because Kalia's poison was so powerful that that entire area, that water was like boiling with the poison that is actually there. And it was boiling so bad that when the fumes of the poison used to go up, if any birds were flying on top of that water, the birds used to fall down dead. Right? And because of the heat which is actually coming out of the poison, the surrounding trees were all withering away and all the leaves were also lost. Essentially, that particular water body which was next to Yamuna, which is also called Yamuna because the water body came out of Yamuna, right? So even that entire water body, everything, the grass and everything that was there were completely eliminated. That entire area, nothing was actually there. And because of the poison that is actually coming there. So Ghore Tasmin, sorry, by looking at it, so when Krishna then comes to hear about how all these animals are dying, that entire nature in that area is completely getting destroyed. So you, Krishna, decided to now take action because Twan Manasten Karunyadram, because you're filled with compassion, you decide that I'm going to go take action to get Kalia out of here. So Ghore Tasmin Surajanira Vase, Tire Vriksha Vikshataha. Again, you have to say that Visarga. Vikshataha Shvela Vegat. Pakshivrataha, put a F. Pakshivrata Peturabhre Patantaha, Karunyardham Twan Manastena Jatam. Ghore Tasmin Surajanhiravase Tire Vriksha Vikshataha Shvela Vegat. Pakshivrataah Peturabhre Patantah Karunyadram Twan Manastena Jatam.
घोरे तस्मिन् सूरजानीरवासे तीरे वृक्षा विक्षताः क्ष्वेलवेगात् पक्षिव्राताः पेतुरभ्रे पतन्तः कारुण्यार्द्रं त्वन्मनस्तेन जातम् घोरे तस्मिन् सूरजानीरवासे तीरे विक्षताः तीरे विक्षताः क्ष्वेलवेगात् पक्षिव्राताः पेतुरभ्रे पतन्तः कारुण्यार्द्रं त्वन्मनस्तेन जातम्
घोरे तस्मिन् सूरजानीरवासे तीरे वृक्षताः क्ष्वेलवेगात् पक्षिव्राताः पेतुरभ्रे पतन्तः कारुण्यार्द्रं त्वन्मनस्तेन जातं
The
गोरे
second line, third word, vikshataha. I think you said vrikshata. First word is vriksha. Second word is vikshataha.
विक्षताः गोरे तस्मिन् सूरजानीरवासे तीरे वृक्षा विक्षताः क्ष्वेलवेगात् पक्षिव्राताः पेतुरभ्रे पतन्तः कारुण्यार्द्रं त्वन्मनस्तेन जातम्
That's a fine. काले तस्मिन् एकदासीरपाणिं मुक्त्वा याते यामुनं काननान्तं त्वय्युद्दाम ग्रीष्म भीष्मोष्मतप्ता गोपाला क्ष्वेलतोयम्. So when the again, like we said, the water was so poisonous, like sometimes you see, right? You see this what the fumes coming out of it, right? So it was very poisonous water. However, the one day Krishna, along with the Gopa and the boys and the cows, everybody decided to go to that part of Yamuna. Like we see, Krishna decides, okay, this year or this month, I'm going to go to this particular part of the forest because something needs to happen there, right? So that's what happens here. He decides to come to here. And just like in Dashakam 51, Aghasura Vada Varnanam, where Balarama did not come, same here, Balarama does not come this day. So Krishna is going along with the boys and the cow. And when they go to that point, they all get very tired and thirsty. And these boys, of course, they don't know that this Kalia is living there and all of this stuff. And what they end up doing, the boys and the cows which are there end up going and drinking the poisoned water because it was very hot. It was summertime. It says, it was heavy. In Bhishmo Shramana is very intense, Ugra, very intense summer heat that was going on. So they all felt very tired and ended up drinking that poisoned water. So Kale Tasmin Ekadha Sirapanim, put a plus, Muktva Yate Yamunam Kananantam, Toyuddhama Grishma Bhishmoshma Tapta. I think some books are Taptaha. You can remove that Visarga. Tapta, comma. Gopala Vyapiban Shwela Toyam. Like I said, Shwela is poison. Toyam is water. काले तस्मिन्नेकदासीरपाणिं मुक्त्वा याते यामुनं काननान्तं त्वय्युद्दाम भीष्मोष्मदप्ता गोपाला व्यापिबन् क्ष्वेलतोयम्.
काले तस्मिन्नेकदासीरपाणिं मुक्त्वा याते यामुनं काननान्तं त्वय्युद्दाम ग्रीष्म भीष्मोष्म तप्ता गोपाला व्यापिबन् क्ष्वेलतोयम् काले तस्मिन्नेकदासीरपाणिं मुक्त्वा याते यामुनं काननान्तं त्वय्युद्दाम ग्रीष्म भीष्मोष्म तप्ता गोपाला व्यापिबन् क्ष्वेलतोयम्
काले तस्मिन्नेकदा सीरपाणिं मुक्त्वा याते यामुनं काननान्तं त्वय्युद्दाम ग्रीष्म भीष्मोष्मतप्ता गोपाला व्यापिबन् श्वेलतोयम् काले तस्मिन्नेकदा सीरपाणिं मुक्त्वा याते यामुनं काननान्तं त्वय्युद्दाम ग्रीष्म भीष्मोष्मतप्ता गोपाला व्यापिबन् श्वेलतोयम्.
That first line you can break it as tasmin ekada. Okay, the first line, second word. Kale tasmin ekada. Ekada is just once at one point in time. Stanza 6. Nashya jivan vichutan kshmataletan vishwan pashyen achyutatvam dayadraha prapyopantam jivayamasi tadrak piyushambho varshibhishri katakshaih. Say 6 and 7 meaning together. Nashyaj jivan vichutan kshmatale. So ha ksha, okay. Iksh kshmataletan, comma. Vishwan pashyen nachyuta tvam dayardraha prapyo pantam jivayam asita. You can break it that ma if you want. Jivayam asita drak, comma. Piyu shambho varshibhi is there. Put a ish, varshibish श्रीकटाक्षैः नश्य जीवान् विच्युतान् क्ष्मातले तान् विश्वान् पश्यन्नच्युत त्वं दयार्द्रः प्राप्योपान्तं जीवयामासि तद्राक् पीयूषाम्भो वर्षिभिः श्रीकटाक्षैः
नश्य जीवान् विच्युतान् क्ष्मातले तान् विश्वान् पश्यन्नच्युतत्वं दयार्द्रः प्राप्योपान्तं जीवयामासि तद्राक पीयूषाम्भो वर्षिभिः श्रीकटाक्षैः नश्य जीवान् विच्युतान् क्ष्मातले तान् विश्वान् पश्यन्नच्युतत्वं दयार्द्रः प्राप्योपान्तं जीवयामासि तद्राक पीयूषाम्भो वर्षिभिः श्रीकटाक्षैः
नस्य जीवान् विच्युतान् क्ष्मातले तान् विश्वान् पश्यन्नच्युत त्वं दयार्द्रः प्राप्योपान्तं जीवयामासि तद्राक् पीयूषाभो वर्षिभिः श्रीकटाक्षैः नश्य जीवान् विच्युतान् क्ष्मातले तान् विश्वान् पश्यन्नच्युत त्वं दयार्द्रः प्राप्योपान्तं जीवयामासि तद्राक् पीयूषाम्भो वर्षिभिः श्रीकटाक्षैः
And 7. Kim kim jato harshavarshatirekah sarvangeeshvetyuttita gopasanghaah दृष्ट्वाग्रे त्वां त्वत्कृतं तद्विदन्तः त्वामालिङ्गन् दृष्टनाना प्रभावाः. So in 6, because of course, they go drink the poisoned water. Naturally, all the boys and the cow, everybody is going to faint because the poison then gets in, right? So that's what happens. They all end up falling down. All the boys, the cows, the calves, everybody who was there that day, they end up falling down. But however, you, Krishna, you're filled with compassion. You know all these boys, cows came there only because of you, and they have nobody other than you who is going to be able to take care of them. And they also know that. So just with Sri Katakshahi, just when you glance at them with the intent of helping them or rescue them, naturally nothing is going to happen to them, right? So the boys and the cows, they all recover back up. Once they recover back up, that's when, the Gopa boys, it comes to the realization that, suddenly, they're feeling all energetic because, Krishna looked at them with the intention of, giving them some energy to get up. So suddenly they are all feeling very happy and, excited about it. And then looking at Krishna before them, they realize that something happened, that they ended up drinking that water. Maybe the water was poisonous, maybe the water was bad, that they all fainted. And it was Krishna who actually, got him out, got all of them out as well. And then with this mercy, they all recovered. So the boys came to that realization. And then Tvam Alingan. So they all came and embraced you. Kim Kim Jato Harsha Varshati Rekaha, comma. Sarvangeshvit Yuttita. So you have to say that together because it's Sarva Angeshu Uttita. 3 different words there merged. So Sarvangeshvit Yuttita Gopa Sanghaha. Trishtwagre Tvam Tvat Kritam Tad Vidantaha. Put a visarga there. Tad Vidantaha, comma. Next line is goes away. Tvam Alingan Drishta Nana Prabhavaha. Kim kim jato harshavarshatirekah sarvangeeshvetyuttita gopasanghaah drishtvaagre tvam tvatkritam tadvidantah tvamalingan drishtanana prabhavaah.
ராஜேஷ் ஜி, அந்த தத்விதம் தஸ்ன்னு தமிழ்ல இருக்கு.
Sorry, what is it?
தத்விதந்தகாவா அது?
Tadvidanta will be there, and then we add the visarga at the end.
இல்ல இங்க வந்து தத்விதந்தஸ்ன்னு இருக்கு. அது தான்
and the is okay. For me, the is in a different line. That's all. So that is you remove it and put a visarga.
Okay.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you.
किं किं जातो हर्षवर्षातिरेकः सर्वाङ्गेषु इत्युत्थिता गोपसङ्खाः दृष्ट्वाग्रे त्वं त्वत्कृतं तद्विदन्तः त्वामालिङ्गन् दृष्टनाना प्रभावाः.
So that second line, first word. Sarvangeshvit yuttita.
Sarva, say that again.
So do you have Sarvangeshu Uttita? Okay, so that
Sarvangesh, if I split it is Sarvangeshu iti uttitha.
Iti Uttita, three words are there, right? But it is kind of all joined together. So it is Sarvangeshu with Yuttita. Because the iti and uttita, ti and u becomes tu, right? So and the sarvangeshu and iti, that again u and e becomes shvi, so it becomes sarvangesh with yuttita. You want me to type it for you there? I can. Let me see.
Okay.
Sarvangesh with yuttita. I just typed one big word in the chat if you want to, but you can break it up.
Sarvangeshvi. Kim kim jato harsha varshatirekah sarvangeshvutyuthita gopasankhaha drishtva agre tvam totkritam tadvidantaha त्वामालिङ्गन् दृष्टनाना प्रभावाः
किं किं जाते हर्ष वर्षातिरेकः सर्वाङ्गेष्विद्युक्तिता गोपसङ्घाः दृष्ट्वाग्रे त्वां त्वत्कृतं तद्विदन्तः त्वामालिङ्गन् दृष्टनानाप्रभावाः किं किं जाते हर्षवर्षातिरेकः सर्वाङ्गेष्विद्युक्तिता गोपसङ्घाः दृष्ट्वाग्रे त्वां त्वत्कृतं तद्विदन्तः त्वामालिङ्गन् दृष्टनानाप्रभावाः.
First line, third word, jato. Kim kim jato.
I think I said jati.
Jate, you said, yeah.
Jato.
Gavaschaivam labda jivaha kshanena sphitanandastvam cha drishtva purastat dragavavrus sarvato harshabhashpam vyahuncantyo mandamudhyanninataha. In 8 and 9, I'll say it together. Gavaschaivam labdha jivaha. Again, you have to say that visarga because ksha is coming. Kshanena, comma. Sphitanandas Tvam cha drishtva purastat draga vavruhu put is draga vavrus sarvato harsha bhashpam put a plus vyamunchantyo mandham udhyan ninadaha. You can break it that move if you want. Mandam udhyan ninadaha. Gavaschaivam labdha jivaha kshanena sphitanandastvam cha drishtva purastat dragavavrus sarvato harshabhashpam vyamunchantyo mandamudhyan ninadaha.
Gavaschaivam labdha jivaha kshanena sphitanandastvam cha drishtva purastat dragavavrus sarvato harshabhashpam vyamunchantyo mandamudhyan ninadaha. Gavaschaivam labdha jivaha kshanena sphitanandastvam cha drishtva purastat dragavavrus sarvato harshabhashpam vyamunchantyo mandamudhyan ninadaha.
Gavaschaivam labdhajivaha kshanena svitanandastvam cha drishtva purastat dragavavrus sarvato harshabhashpam yamunchantyo mandamudhyanninadaha.
That word and the last word, mandham udhyan ninadaha. You can break it there.
Mandam udhyanninadaha. Gavaschaivam labdhajivaha kshanena svitanandastvam cha drishtva purastat dragavavrus sarvato harsha bhashpam व्यामुञ्चन्त्यो मन्दमुम् उद् no, I prefer to
break it. Mandham udhyan ninadaha.
Mandam udhyanninadaha. Mandamudhyanninadaha. I can even say it like that, right?
Starts 9. Romanchoyam sarvato nashadhine bhuyasyantah kachid anandamurcha आश्चर्योऽयं क्षेलवेगो मुकुन्दे त्युक्तो गोपैर्नन्दितो वन्दितो भूः. So not only the boys, like we saw in 7, who came and Twam Alingan, because the boys are able to come and embrace Krishna, hug Krishna. The cows can't do that, right? But the cows also realized what happened. The cows also realized that they actually came back because of Krishna. So they came to Krishna and they do how they respond, which is they move very low, low voice. Mandam. Mandam is in a very low voice, or low way. So they started moving to Krishna, saying, thanking him. And, like we saw the boys, because they were also feeling all this excitement in their body, they're saying Roman Choyam, they're saying we're having horripilation all over our body because it's maybe the act of poison Krishna. It is kind of acting as like like an elixir, right? It is acting as something which is making us more excited. So that's what the boys feel. And then they're saying it's actually very wonderful, actually, this poison, because it's making us very happy, right? And then they're all very happy with Krishna. So Romanchoyam Sarvato Naha is there, put a ish, Nash Sharire, comma, Bhuyasyantaha, put a ih sound, Bhuyasyantah, Kachit Ananda, if you want to break at the Kachit Ananda Murcha, Ascharyoyam Shvela Vego Mukunde, put a plus, Tyukto Gopair, Nandito Vandito Bhuhu. रोमाञ्चोऽयं सर्वतो न शरीरे भूयस्यन्तः काचित् आनन्दमूर्छा आश्चर्योऽयं क्ष्वेलवेगो मुकुन्दे त्युक्तो गोपैर्नन्दितो वन्दितो भूः.
रोमाञ्चोऽयं सर्वतो नः शरीरे भूयस्यन्तः काचिदानन्दमूर्च्छा आश्चर्योऽयं क्ष्वेलवेगो मुकुन्दे त्युक्तो गोपैर्नन्दितो वन्दितो भूः. रोमाञ्चोऽयं सर्वतो नः शरीरे भूयस्यन्तः काचिदानन्दमूर्च्छा आश्चर्योऽयं श्वेलवेगो मुकुन्दे त्युक्तो गोपैर्नन्दितो वन्दितो भूः.
रोमाञ्चोऽयं सर्वतो नः शरीरे भूयस्यन्तः काञ्चिदानन्दमूर्च्छा आश्चर्यायं वेगो मुकुन्दे व्युक्तो गोपैर्नन्दितो विन्दतो भूः.
वन्दितो भूः.
वन्दितो भूः.
Third line, first word, Ascharyoyam.
आश्चर्योऽयं श्वेलवेगो रामाञ्चोऽयं रोमाञ्चोऽयं सर्वतो नः शरीरे भूयस्यन्तः काचिदानन्दमूर्च्छा आश्चर्योऽयं श्वेलवेगो मुकुन्दे युक्तो गोपैर्नन्दितो वन्दितो भूः.
एवं भक्तान् मुक्तजीवान् अपि त्वं मुग्धापाङ्गैरस्तरोगांस्तनोषि तादृग्भूतस्फीतकारुण्यभूमा रोगात् पाया वायुगेहादिनाथ. Saying this way, O Krishna, all your devotees, which are the Gopa boys and the cows and everything, who were poisoned, you kind of got them away from that and also protected them so they don't fall sick just with, just with your glances, right? However, but by saying here, I am suffering from all these things. Similarly, you show your compassion on me too, right? And eradicate all the diseases and ailments I also have. Evam bhaktan mukta jivanapi tvam, comma, Mugdha Pangair. So the ra that is there, it might be easier to break that ra into ir and a. So Mugdha Pangair, Asta Roghams Tanoshi, Tadhrit Bhuta Spita Karunya Bhuma, comma, Rogat Paya Vayu Gehadhi. Some books have Vasa, some books have Natha. It means the same thing. We'll keep it as Natha. So in case you have Vasa, then just change it to Natha. Evam bhaktan mukta jivanapि tvam mugdhapangairastarogam stanoshi tadrugbhutaspita karunya bhuma rogatmaya vayugehadinatha.
Evam bhaktan mukta jivanapi tvam muktam pangair astarogam stanoshi tadrugbhutaspita karunya bhuma rogat paya vayugehathi vasa, right?
Natha.
Natha. Vayugehathi natha. Evam bhaktan mukta jivanapi tvam mukta pangair astarogam stanoshi tadrugbhutaspita karunya bhuma rogat paya vayugehathi natha.
Both are correct, only Vasa, but we just for consistency we'll change it to Natha, so everybody's saying that way.
Evam bhaktan mukta jivanapi tvam mugdhapangair astarogam stanoshi tadrugbhutasphita karunya bhuma rogat paya vayu gehadinatha. Evam bhaktan mukta jivanapi tvam mugdhapangair astarogam stanoshi tadrugbhutasphita karunya bhuma rogat paya vayu gehadinatha. Shri Krishnaya
Parabrahmane Namaha. Right, we'll move to 55. We'll switch. Gayatri, you can be a student, and Mithilaji, you can be a student. 55 is Kaliya Mardhana Varnana, which is dancing on Kaliya. So this one will follow this, if you know Totakashtakam, if you know that slokam, it kind of follows the meter. The chandas is Totaka chandas. That's why that is called Totakashtakam, because it follows that chandas. Athavari घोरतरं फणिनं प्रतिवारयितुं कृतधीर् भगवन् द्रुतमारिततीरगणीपतरुं विषमारुतशोषितपर्णचयम्. Same meaning, 1 and 2 together. So here pretty much the first two lines are always plus, third and fourth line are always plus, okay, for this entire Dasakam. Atha varini घोरतरं फणिनं plus Prativaarayitum Kritadhir Bhagavan Drutamarita Tiraga Nipa Tarum plus Bisha Maruta Shoshita Parna Chayam. Athavari Nighorataram Paninam Prativaarayitum Kritadhir Bhagavan Drutamarita Tiraga Nipa Tarum Bisha Maruta Shoshita Parna Chayam. Gayatri, go ahead.
अतवारिणि घोरतरं पणिनं प्रतिवारयितुं कृतधीर्भगवन् धृतमारितधीरगणीपतरुं विषमारुतशोषितपर्णचयम्. अतवारिणि घोरतरं पणिनं प्रतिवारयितुं कृतधीर्भगवन् धीरगणीपतरुं. Okay. धीरगणीपतरुं विषमारुत शोषितपर्णचयम्.
A third line, first word is Dhrutam.
Okay, Dhruta. Okay.
अथवारिणि घोरतरं पणिनं प्रतिवारयितुं कृतधीर्भगवन् द्रुतमारिततीरगणीपतरुं विषमारुतशोषितपर्णचयम्. अथवारिणि घोरतरं पणिनं प्रतिवारयितुं कृतधीर्भगवन् ധൃതമാരിതീരഗണീപതരും വിഷമാരുതശോഷിതപർണചയം.
Answer two. Adhiruhya padhamburuhena chatam navapallavatulya rucha Pradavari nidhurataram nyapada parigurnita ghora tarangagane. So, because Krishna's whole purpose of taking this avataram is to kind of get rid of wherever there is evil, wherever wrong things are happening, and to protect the devotees. So he decides, okay, now the time has come for Kalia to leave this place, right? We saw why Kalia and family came to Yamuna river. Now time for them to go back. So what he does is he then climbs on to a tree which is on the bank of that river, bank of that water body, like we said. And it says, because of the fumes which are coming out of the water body, the leaves of the trees were all completely dried. It become completely barren because of the poison which was coming. However, it says, Krishna, when you start walking, when you climb on this Kadamba tree, and then you start with your tender like feet, lotus like feet, you start walking on those branches, on the bark of those trees. Now that is enough for the tree to actually start sprouting again. But anyway, Krishna then starts climbing on it, goes up, and there is a portion of the tree which is overlooking the river, right? It always one portion stretches over the river. So from there, Krishna, you take a dive, you kind of tighten your belt and everything, and you just get ready, and then you just jump into the poisoned water. You take a dive into the water. Adiruhya padambu ruhena chatam, put a plus, nava pallava tulya manognya rucha hrada sound, hrada varini durataram nyapataha, put a f, nyapatah, put a plus, parigurnita ghora tarangagane. So you just jump into it and then you start swirling, because water then starts like swirling when you jump into the river. Adhiruhya padhamburuhena chatam navapallavatullya manognya rucha Hradavarini durataram nyapatah parigurnita ghora tarangagane.
Adhiruhya padamburuhena satam navapallavatullya manognya rucha Hradavarini durataram nyapatash parigurnita ghora taranga gane.
Third line, nyapatah, F sound.
Okay, nyapatas. Okay.
Nyapatah. If.
Okay. Adiruhya padhamburu hena satam navapallavatullya manognya rucha Hradavari nidurataram nyapatah parigurnita ghora taranga gane.
Adhiruhya padamburuhena chatam navapallavatullya manojñarucha Hradavarini durataram nyapatah parighurnita ghora tarangagane. Adhiruhya padamburuhena chatam navapallavatullya manojñarucha Hradavarini durataram nyapatah Parighurnita ghora tarangagane.
Answer 3. Bhuvanatraya bhara bhruto bhavato guru bhara vikampi vijrumbi jala parimajjayate sma dhanushatakam tatini jhatiti sputa ghoshavati. So the Archimedes principle, right, which says when you jump into a water body or something like that, the amount of water displaced is equal to the weight of the volume of you, right? So same thing they're saying here, saying, Krishna, you are Bhuvanatraya Bhara, you are capable of lifting the entire 3 worlds on your shoulder. So when a person of your weight is actually jumping into that water body, lots of water actually has to get displaced. So here they say the water that got displaced out, it says, was Dhanush Shatakam, because they always measure in terms of the bow, so they're saying 100 bows distance water got displaced because of the weight of you who is actually jumping into the water. Anyway, Krishna just jumps in, and then when it creates a noise because he's jumping into the water and the water is getting displaced, and that kind of causes the noise and swirling of the waters, right, in that area. Bhuvana Traya Bhara Bhruto Bhavato, put a plus, Guru Bhara Vikampi Vijrumbi Jala, Parimajjayati Sma Dhanush Shatakam, put a plus, Tatini Jhatiti Sputa Ghoshavati. भुवनत्रयभारभृतो भवतो गुरुभारविकम्पि विजृम्भि जला परिमज्जयति स्म धनुःशतकं तटिः झटिति स्फुटघोषवती
भुवनत्रयभारभृतो भवतो गुरुभारविखम्बि विजृम्भि जला परिमज्जयति स्म तद्धनुःशतकं दडिनी झटिति स्फुटको घोषवती भुवनत्रयभारभृतो भवतो गुरुभारविकम्बि विजृम्भि जला परिमज्जयति स्म धनुःशतकं तडिनी झटिति स्फुटघोषवती
भुवनत्रयभारभृतो भवतो गुरुभारविकम्पि विजृम्भि जला परिमज्जयति स्म धनुःशतकं तडिनी झटिति स्फुटघोषवती भुवनत्रयभारभृतो भवतो गुरुभारविकम्पि विजृम्भि जला परिमज्जयति स्म धनुःशतकं तडिनी झटिति स्फुटघोषवती.
अथ दिक्षु विदिक्षु परिक्षु विद भ्रमितोदरभारि निनादभरैः उदकात् उदगात् उरगादिपतिस्त्वदुपान्तमशान्तरुषान्धमनाः. Because then Krishna, then once he gets in, like how the elephants do, they start splashing the water everywhere. That's what Krishna is doing. He starts pushing the water in all directions because he's trying to disrupt, right? Because Kaliya and his family are there at the bottom of the water body. So they have to kind of get those vibrations go all the way to the bottom. So he starts splashing the water everywhere, making noise, hitting the water and everything. And that causes disturbance. And eventually the disturbance then reaches down to Kaliya. And of course, he's wondering, who is this who's actually come into my territory? And then he gets very, angry and, blinded with anger. And then he decides to come up to the surface to see who is the one who's disrupting the waters right now. So, ata dikshu bidikshu. So it says all directions, all the 8 directions which are there, the water is it's creating noise and the water is beginning to move. So, ata dikshu bidikshu parikshubita, put a plus, Brahmitodara Vari Ninadha Bharaihi. So the next one, you break a few places, I'll tell you where. Udakad, the du that is there, you break it. Udakad. Next is Udagad. First is a ka, second is a da. Udakad, Udagad, Uraghadipati. Okay, so 3 places you can break it. Uraghadipati. And then put a plus. There's an is in the next line, so you can say it together because we're not going to put a comma, visarga and all that here. So, Uragadipatis Tvadupantam Ashanta Rushandhamanaha. Atadikshu Vidikshu Parikshu Bita Brahmitodaravari Ninada Bhareihi Udakat Udagat Uragadhipatis Tvadupantamashanta Rushandhamanaha.
Adadikshu vidikshu parikshu bitha pramedotara vari ninadha bareihi udakadu ragadhipatis tvadupantamashanta rushandhamanaha. Adidikshu vidikshu parikshu bitha प्रमिदोधरवारि निनाद बरैः उदकात् दुराग. அது கொஞ்சம் சொல்லுங்க.
So 3 words there, or 4 words there. Udakad, Udagad Uragadi Patis.
Okay. Udakad, udakadu,
No, don't
durakadi.
say do. You'll not land it. You have to break that word do into id and a u.
Okay.
Udagad Uragadi Patis.
Udakad, durakadu, duragadipatis.
And then I think you are again saying do. If you say do, it won't get it.
Okay.
So, and the do, you have to break it into id and the u.
Okay. Udakad,
Udagad,
udakad,
Uragadi,
duragadi, patis.
Uragadi.
Duragadi, patis.
Lilo, you're again saying do. It is, you say it as u.
Okay. அங்க செகண்ட் ஊன்னு சொல்லணும் இல்லையா?
Yeah,
Okay.
second also you break it into it and the u.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. Udakat, uragadipadas, dvadupanta, mashanta, rushanta, manaha.
There you go. That's it. I think if you break it, it's easy to say. You can say it together also once you are getting more familiar with it, but this is easier.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you.
अथ दिक्षु विदिक्षु परिक्षुपित भ्रमितोदरवारिनिदा निनादपरैः उदगात् उरगातिपदि स्वतुपान्दमशान्दरुषान्द मनाः अथ दिक्षु विदिक्षु परुक्षुपित भ्रमितोदरवारि निनादपरैः उदगात् उरगाधिपदि स्वदुपान्दमशान्द रुषान्दमनाः.
Sounds fine. Hanashringa sahasra vinisrumara jwaladagni kanogra vishambhudaram puratah phaninam samalokayata bahushringinam anjana shailamiva. So finally, when all these disturbances are happening, Kaliya finally emerges out of the water. And first Krishna sees Kaliya, then Kaliya sees Krishna. But when Krishna sees Kaliya, he sees this massive black snake which has got several hoods, right? It has not just got one hood. Like if you go to Angkor Wat, you'll see a snake which has got like 5 or 7 hoods, right? In Angkor Wat entrance. But this has got way more than that. So it has got a lot of hoods there. And of course, it's emitting poison, right, from its mouth. It is very poisonous snake. And then it says the way to think of this is, Bahu Shringinam Anjana Shailamiva. Shringina Anjana is referring to the kajal that you put, right? The black kajal. So Shailam is referring to a mountain. So if you think of a mountain of kajal or the Anjana that you put in your eyes, he's saying it is looking like that, such a big black mountain, which has got a Bahushringi, it's got multiple peaks, which is referring to the various hoods of Kaliya. So if you think of a big, massive black mountain with lots of peaks, that is how Kaliya was looking there when Krishna then saw him. And Krishna is a small boy, right? So kind of the size is also relative to that. So Phana, Shringa, Sahasra, Binis, Srimara, put a plus, Jwala Dagni, Kanogra, Vishambhudaram, Purataha, put a F, Puratah, Haninam, Samalokayata, put a plus, Bahu, Shringinam, Anjana, Shailamiva. Dhanashringa Sahasra Vinisrimara Jwaladagni Kanogra Vishambudharam Puratah Phaninam Samalokayata Bahushringinam Shailamiva.
Panashringa Sahasra Vinisrumara Jwaladagni Ganugra Vishambudaram Puratapaninam Samalokayata Shringinamanjana Shailamiva. Panashringa Sahasra Vinisrumara Jwaladagni Ganugra Vishambudaram Puratapaninam Samalokayata Bahushringinamanjanamasailameva.
Phanashringasahasra vinismrara Jaladvagnikanogravishambudharam Puradah Phaninam Samalogayatha Bahushringinam Shailamiva.
Now that first line, last word, Vinis Srimara.
Srimara.
Yeah.
Thank you. Phanashringa Sahasra Vinismrara Jwaladagnikanogravishambudharam Puradah Phaninam Samalogayatha Bahushringinam Shailamiva.
Stanza 6. Jwaladakshi parikshara dugra vishashwasanoshma bharat samahabhujagaha paridashya bhavantamananta bhalam samavishta yadasputa cheshtamaho. So then Kalia then sees this boy who's there, Krishna is there, who is wearing Pitambaram, who is wearing a yellow garment, very delicate body, because probably 6 or 7 years old, right? And then it is like a cloud, which is like dark gray and color, which is there. However, his face is very smiling, Mandasmitardha Vachanam, right? He always has a very smiling face. So even when he's there in the river with Kalia, Krishna's face is very smiling. And then he's got very small feet, right, of that like a lotus flower, and he's just playing around in the water. And he doesn't seem to have any fear when Kalia is looking at Krishna. So with this, then Kalia gets even more frustrated or upset, right, about this. And then he comes and bites Krishna on his chest. And then what he does is with his coils, right, he starts wrapping around Krishna, around him, so that he cannot move anymore, because that's what snakes always do. They wrap you around. That's what Kalia also does. So all over his Krishna's body, Kalia wraps the coils. Jwala Dakshi Parikshara Dugra. Okay, Parikshara Ugra. Remember the word Ugra. Parikshara Dugra Visha. Put a plus. Swashanosh. So Ish and Ava is coming in the next line. Swashanosh Mabharaha is there. Put a is to join. So Swashanosh Mabharas Sa Mahabhujagaha Paridashya Bhavantam. You can break at that ma. Bhavantam Ananta Bhalam. Put a plus. Samaveshtayada Sputa. Cannot break that. So Samaveshtayada Sputa Cheshtamaho. Jwaladakshi pariksharadugra vishashvashanoshma bharasa mahabhujagaha paridashya bhavantamananta bhalam samaveshta yadasputa cheshtamaho.
Rajesh, I have
Hmm.
Pariveshtaya Daspuda. The fourth line,
Okay, instead of samaveshta yadasputa.
it's Pariveshtayada.
Okay, so you just change it to samaveshta. It essentially means the same thing. Pari also means around, so essentially coiling around. So samaveshta yadasputa.
Thank you.
Jwaladakshi parikshara vishas swasanoshma bharap samaga. அது கொஞ்சம்
You got it. Ishva shwa swasta noshma bharas.
snow. Okay. Jwaladakshi parikshara dugra visha swanoshma parap samaha bhujagaha paridashya bhavanta mananta bhalam samaveshtaya dasputa sheshtamaho. Jwaladakshi parikshara dugra visha swashanoshma parap Samahabhujagaham paridashya bhavanta mananta balam samaveshtaya dasputa sheshtamaho.
Gayatri, in the second line, swashanoshma bharas is sound has to come because the visarga is there, right? That will become is. Okay.
Okay.
Jwaladakshi pariksharadugra vishashwasanoshma bharasa samahabhujagaha paridashya bhavantamananda balam samaveshtaya daspuda चेष्टमहो ज्वलदक्षि परिक्षरदुग्रविष श्वसनोष्मभरस् समहाभुजगः परिदश्य भवन्तम् अनन्दबलं समवेष्टयतस्फुट चेष्टमहो.
Stanza 7. अविलोक्य भवन्तमताकुलिते तटगामिनि बालकधेनुगणे व्रजगेहतलेप्यनिमित्तशतं समुदीक्ष्य गता यमुनां पशुपाः. So when a snake, which is massive, very black in color, picks up a small boy who is also very dark in color in the waters, poisoned water, then that boy becomes invisible pretty much. It's very difficult to spot where is a boy, where is a snake, right? So when this Kaliya coils around Krishna, the boys who are looking now cannot figure out where Krishna is because they can't see Krishna anymore, right? Because the snake is completely coiled around him. So they all start yelling out, crying out in distress. The cows also come to realization that Krishna is gone or what is happening there. So they also start, making noises. So parallel now in Vrindavan, what is happening is people who are there somehow, they have this mother, they have this gut feeling, right, that something is wrong, So that's what happens to Nandagopa and Yashoda, that something is wrong, and they somehow have this weird feeling, they're beginning to see some bad omens, and just amongst them, they say, I just feel something is not right today with Krishna, right? And they say, Balarama also has not gone. So let's go see what is happening. So some of them, they all start looking for the boys, looking for Krishna and the boys, and they all start wandering there. And when they come there, when along with Balarama, they all approach there, because these people, the Gopas, are very simple people, they don't know the power of Krishna. So they feel like, something might happen to him. So when they all approach Krishna, and actually I'll come in the next stanza, so I'll wait. So they all kind of come there, right, looking for Krishna. So avilokya bhavantam atha kulite, put a plus, tata gamini balaka dhenugane braja geha talepya nimitta, that's one word, talepya nimitta shatam, put a plus, samudikshya gata yamunam pashupaha. So they all rush to the Yamuna river. Just say one more time. Sorry, go ahead.
குளித்தோன் இருக்கு எனக்கு, உங்களுக்கு வந்து குளித்தேன்னு சொல்றேன்.
Kulite, ama. Just change to kulite then.
அந்த ஒரு இது போட்டிருக்கு, துணைக்கால் போட்டிருக்கு, அது வேண்டாமா?
இல்ல வேண்டாம், just kulite only. Yeah. Okay. So just one time, Gayatri in the live. Abhilokya bhavanta kulite tataghamini bhalaka dhenugane brajageha talepya nimitta shatam samudikshya gataya munam pashupaha.
अविलोक्य भवन्तमताकुलिते तडकामिनि बालकधेनुगणे व्रजगेहतलेभ्यनिमित्तशतं समुदीक्ष्य गताय मुनां पशुपाः.
अविलोक्य भवन्तमथाकुलिते तटगामिनि बालगधेनुगणे व्रजगेहतलेप्यनिमित्तशतं समुदीक्ष्य गता यमुनां पशुपाः.
Stanza 8. Akhileshu vibho bhavadiyya dashamavaloक्य जिहासु जीव भरम फणिबन्धनमाशु विमुच्य जवात् उदगम्यतः सजुषा भवता. So when they were all rushing towards Yamuna, there was also a time where probably some of the boys were kind of coming to get the parents, right? So they kind of all met and they said, you know what, Krishna is stuck. He jumped into this river. So they all come to the banks of that water body. We just say it as Yamuna, right? They come to the banks of Yamuna. And then they see this massive sized snake as coiled around Krishna, and Krishna is not to be seen. So the moment they see that, of course, the Gopas and all get very upset about it. They're all beginning to cry now. And, on one end, the gopis who are always, behind Krishna, they cannot imagine what has happened, that Krishna has gotten stuck and this massive giant snake, which is there, has coiled over him. And Yashoda, of course, the mother, she wants to go jump in to protect, motherly instincts, right? So they all had to hold back Yashoda, saying, there's no way you can go and protect Krishna at this point, and then she's crying on one side. On one side, Nanda Gopa and the other Gopas are trying to say how can they go in and protect Krishna. However, Balarama is there now. And Balarama realizes, right? Of course, he knows what's going to happen. So he holds back Nanda Gopa, saying, you know what? Don't worry, right? Everything will be fine with Krishna. So when they're all there, Krishna is stuck into the coils of the serpent for a while. And then, he's acting like a normal human being who's trying to escape away. But he does it up to a particular point, and then he realizes that some of these people will faint if Krishna doesn't come out right now, because Yashoda and all of them are ready to jump into the water, right? And Krishna doesn't want that to happen. So the moment he realizes that they are at that point where they are willing to give their lives to save Krishna, at that time, he then comes out of the coils of the serpent, right? And then comes out, and then he's escaping the serpent's coil. Akhileshu Vibho Bhavadiya Dasha is there. You can put a plus, and the next line will be Mavalokya. So you put that im at the end of that first line, Dasham, and put a plus still and say Avalokya in the next line. Jihasushu Jiva Bharam. Hani Bhanda Namashu Vimuchya. Same logic. Java Dudagamyata will be there. You put a it at the end of that line. Javat. Put a plus. Fourth line will start with the u. Udagamyata hasa jusha bhavata. Akhileshu vibho bhavadiya dasham avalokya jihasu shujiva baram. Hanibanda namashu vimuchya javat udagamyata hasa jusha bhavata.
Akhileshu vibho bhavadiya dasham avalokya jighashu jiva param panibandhanamasu vimuksya javat udagamyataha sajusha bhavata.
Akhileshu vipo bhavadiya dasha avalokya jihasushu jiva param phanibandhanamashu vimuchya javad. Excuse me. Udagamya dajhasa jusha bhavata.
That's a 9. Adhiruhya tatah panirajapanananrute bhavata mrudupada kalashinjita nupura manjumilat karakankana sankula sankwanitam. So when Krishna finally escapes from the coils of Kaliya, then Kaliya is thinking, how is this boy escaping out? So he gets even more angry, right, and actually upset about it. So at that time, Krishna then starts going around, swimming around, because that's one way to distract, right? So even Kaliya starts moving his head all over, trying to look for where Krishna is. And when then Kaliya gets very tired just looking around. So at that time, what Krishna does is he then gets on. When Kaliya is bending down to look where Krishna is, he then jumps on to the shoulder or the hoods of Kaliya, and then he goes on to the very top of Kaliya, and then he begins, to dance. That's why it says here, with the Nupura, the Kalashinjita Nupura Manjumilat. So you then start dancing. He's wearing these anklets, right, on his feet. So he then starts dancing to the sound of and the anklets also start making noise, which is actually there when he's jumping around. So he begins the dance. Says Krishna, you are the founder of the fine arts, and we'll see in Dasakam, I think 76, when he goes to Sandipani's ashramam, how he learns everything. So anyway, here he is who's the master of fine arts. You then begin to dance. So Adi Ruhya Tataha, put a F Tatah, Pani Raja Panan, put a plus, Nandrute Bhavata Mrudu Pada Rucha, Kala Shinjita Nupura Manju Mila, that is there. Put a it at the end of that line, Milat, and then put a plus. Next line, the it goes away because we just moved it there. Manju Milat, Hara Kankana Sankula Sankwanitam. अधिरुह्य ततः फणिराजफणान्नृते भवता मृदुपादरुचा कलशिञ्जितनूपुरमञ्जुमिलत् करकङ्कणसङ्कुलसङ्क्वणितम्
अधिरुह्य ततः फणिराजपणान् नृते भवता मृदुपादरुचा कलसिञ्चितनूपुरमञ्जुमिलत् करकङ्कणसङ्कुलसङ्क्वणितम्
अधिरुह्य ततः फणिराजफणा ननृते भवता मृदुपादरुचा कलशिञ्चितनूपुरमञ्जुमिलत् करकङ्कणसङ्कुलसङ्क्वणितम्
जहृषुः पशुपास्तु तुषुर्मुनयो बभृशुः कुसुमानि सुरेन्द्रगणाः त्वयि नृत्यति मारुतगेहपते परिपाहि समां त्वमधान्तगधात्. So Krishna, when you are beginning to dance on Kaliya, the actual Nardanam is only going to happen in Dasakam 56. But this is saying, Krishna, you're beginning to dance. So the moment you begin to dance, he says, what an opportunity. Who doesn't want to see you dancing the Kaliya Nardanam that you're going to be doing? So of course, all the Munayaha, all of them, all the great sages, the Gandharvas, all the demigods, everybody line up in the sky because they know what is going to happen next, right? So they all line up to watch you dance. And the Gopikas, the boys, everybody is also now beginning to feel a little bit relieved that Krishna is now on the top, but they're also worried that you're standing on the top of the snake, right? On the hoods of the snake, but they're at least relieved that nothing has happened to him. So as all of them are beginning to do, you begin your dance, O Krishna. So with this, Bhattaripan ends this Ashakam, saying, please eradicate all the ailments I have. Jahrushuhu is there, put a F. Jahrushuh Pashupas Tutushur Munayo, put a plus. Bavrushuhu, put a ih sound. Bavrushuh Kusumani Surendra Ganaha Tvai Nrityati Maruta Geha Pathe, put a plus. Paripahi Samam Twamadanta Gadat. You can say two times. We have a couple minutes left. Jahrushuf Pashupastu Tushur Munayo Bavrushuh Kusumani Surendra Ganaha Twahi Nrityati Maruta Geha Pate Paripahi Samam Twamadanta Gadhat.
Jagrush Jagrushus Pasupastu Tushurmunayo Vabrushu Kusumani Surendra Ganaham Twayi Nrityati Maruta Pate Paripahi Samam Twamadhanta Gatat. Jagrushus Pasupas.
Sorry, Gayatri, it's F sound. Jagrushuf.
Okay. Jagrushuf Pashupastu Tushurmunayo Vabrushu Kusumani Surendra Ganaham Twayi Nrityati Marutake Gehapate Paripaki Samam Twamadanta Gadat.
Jahrush Pashupastu Tushurmunayo Vavrushuh Kusumani Surendra Ganaha Tvai Nrityati Maruta Geha Pate Paripahi Sama Twamadanta Gadada. Jahrush Pashupastu Tush
Shuf.
Okay. Jahrush
Shuf. F. Shuf. S-H-U-F. Shuf.
Okay. Jahrush Pashupastu Tusharmunayo Vavrushu Kusumani Surendra Ganaha Tvai Nrityati Marudageha Pate Paripahi Samam Twamadanda Gadat. Can you please repeat that again?
Yeah.
I don't think
I think
I got
you're saying Jahurushush, you are saying. At least I'm hearing that. It is Jahrushuf. F sound.
Oh, I have a Jahrushuh.
Shuhu.
And
You'll have
then
a
a
shuhu.
visarga.
You'll have a shuhu. Shu, and then you'll have a visarga. That visarga, you put a F. So Jakrushu.
Jahrushu. Okay.
Shuf. That's it. F.
Right?
The visarga becomes a F. That's it. That's the only change.
Thank you.
Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. Sandhanandhavabodhatpakamanupamitam kaladeshavadibhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam aspashtam drishtamatre punarurupurusharthatmakam brahmadattvam tattavad bhadi sakshat guru pavanapure hanta bhagyam jananam कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.